How's it going, guys? This is the first official Orcbrand stream. I don't really have anything prepared to talk about other than it's not like anybody's watching anyway. But I just got accepted to law school, and it fucking rules because it's mostly paid for, and it's gonna be great. Let's invite some people. If you wanna 1 viewer, 0 viewers, whatever, fuck off. Oof. Retweeting some mold bug quotes.
Hey! Hey, how are you doing?
Doing all right. I mean, I just got accepted to law school. I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice. And you said you got your scholarship too, right?
Yeah, I got $30,000 every year, which is like the tuition's like 36.
Nice. That'll cut a good chunk.
It's like a good chunk, yeah. It's like my dad's like selling a property soon, so maybe he'll be able to cover the rest. If not, I'm gonna look around for some, private scholarships. And if not, I'll get a few well, hopefully not. I'm gonna try to avoid any loans, but
yeah. You'll figure it out.
This is not like I'm getting $50,000 loan.
Oh yeah.
I invited some randos from Twitter.
Sure.
So let's see who joins in.
Is this being streamed on the
Yeah, it's on my channel. It's on.
Oh shoot! What's your YouTube channel?
It's just my name.
Okay, I'll look it up. Hold on.
Ivan Taryn. It used to be Jeans with Denim TV, but I changed it. And now when I post, it's always Ivan Orcbrand Taryn. I'll probably need to change that too, but this is like my main email account.
Oh, I found it. There we go.
Yeah, I had a bunch of videos on there from college, but I deleted them all.
All right, subscribe.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I have like 4 subscribers.
One more step to internet glory.
Heck yeah.
All right.
What is this?
This will be a fun, laid-back thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I got nothing. We're gonna talk about the incel problem, but like Rick's not here. We could still talk about the incel problem, but
Sure.
But like, I've been kind of insulted out. A lot of. I don't think anyone cares enough about incels to ever want to solve that problem, which is in itself the problem.
Yeah. Marginalized group.
Force people to care.
It's a social justice issue.
It literally is. That's fucked. It could be a feminist issue. It literally is. They're not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. It's too real for them. It's too much of an actual problem.
Right.
That, would require too much from people to solve.
This isn't. This isn't one of our made up issues. This is something real.
Yeah, is it a microaggression if everybody just sort of ignores you, doesn't notice that you exist, doesn't talk to you, doesn't want to talk to you, basically doesn't think of you as a person. Women are just like, what is this monster that materialized in front of me?
Yeah.
And I wonder why are these people so weird? I don't know. They don't hang out with any people, so they're fucking weird.
Oh yeah, what do you think about what happened in North Korea with the whole what is it, the whole peace thing, ending the Korean War?
I mean, that's great. Yeah, I mean,
I want to be happy about it, but the only part I'm a little unsure of is that they one of the agreements that they made was to completely denuclearize the Korean
yeah,
Peninsula. That raises my eyebrow for sure, man.
for sure. Because
Because that was a deterrent.
what happened to
Yeah,
Gaddafi? You know,
exactly. Yeah.
what happened to Saddam? Anytime, what happened to Ukraine and South Africa, for that matter? Like
Mm-hmm.
the only one that like gave up their nukes and got out alive is Kazakhstan, and I'm pretty sure they still have the nukes in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
That's what my friends in Kazakhstan tell me. Like they took the nukes out and then they brought them right back in as soon as all the inspectors were gone. I mean, they're Russia's nukes.
Oh, that's funny. It's like, and more so that what's interesting is that what the U.S. does, this whole, get rid of the current regime and install a puppet government. From what I understand, it doesn't always work either. I haven't looked too much at this, but I know that in the case of Gaddafi, they're, they actually failed to install the regime, and now they just brought the country into anarchy instead.
Well, they're funding one of the sides of the civil war. Pretty
Yeah,
sure that's what they're doing. Like they couldn't. Like there's two sides, and they want to be one government, or like they want they're like two parties at war with each other. And then there's the side that like NATO and America backs, and they're the third government. And it's like
yeah,
everyone knows what that's about.
right, right.
Oh, it's the fucking Zog party over here trying to. You want to fight for Zog in Libya?
Right.
After they fucking bombed your house, what a joke.
Right. And I don't think even if Israel gets everything they want, I doubt it's going to stop at Greater Israel. They're probably going to go through with the whole New World Order nonsense and one world government or whatever. I don't know, man. And what's really weird is that there are all these globalists, right, who've written these books, and these books like they spell out everything what they want to do, like the entire.
I've read the white papers. They tell you exactly what they're going to do, like Alex Jones does, man. But it's true.
It's weird. It's when like things like that and like MK Ultra. Maybe there's like a legal reason to it. Like what I'm trying to say is like, why would they, like, sure, they're claiming that MK Ultra, they don't do that anymore, even though we know it's just sort of turned into like the Monarch thing.
Yeah, they don't do Project Mockingbird anymore. They don't do the UFOs anymore. Like, yeah, right.
yeah, that's nonsense. But the thing is that even then, like, even if you're saying like we don't do that anymore, why would you still release that kind of like information to the public, right? It doesn't really make too much sense to me. I feel like there's probably something important I'm missing. I just don't know about.
Well, with MK Ultra, it was they got into legal trouble. They did it on Canadians, and they brought a lawsuit, and that's how it got uncovered in the 70s.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
So they were kind of forced to release the information about MK Ultra because they were dosing people pretty indiscriminately.
Yeah, dude.
It was such a fucked up time in this country. I don't think it ever stopped being fucked up.
Yeah.
After World War II, everything is just shit.
I read about like some of the stuff they do. It's like in some victims, in one arm they would put in a some sort of I don't remember the name, some sort of like amphetamine or like adrenaline or something like that. And then in the other arm they would put not a I forgot what it's. I don't remember. Okay, let me just put it in baby terms. In one arm, it would be something that made you jittery and hyper, and in the other arm, they would put in something that makes you sleepy, put you to sleep. So what they would do is they would let the sleep drug. I don't even remember the name of it. I feel so stupid.
Right.
The person would get the person would just get tired. They would like sort of slow their breathing and all that, and then they put in like the adrenaline or whatever, and they would just like jitter back to life, and it's like that sounds like nuts, man. Messing with your system like
doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's uppers and downers, dude. That's like 101 drug use. Don't do that.
Right. It's insane, and they just sort of like did it. I mean,
I mean,
Like how
yeah, they did a lot
it's
more than
just
that, dude.
yeah, that's
They
like the
did
tip of
so
the
much
iceberg.
that like boggles the mind. You tell people about it, they'll never believe it. Like,
But it's like, it's like, why didn't you believe this is public domain? Everyone can look at these official documents
yeah,
that detail this stuff, and it's weird.
you can literally
Wow,
go CIA.gov and like find them, doing ESP with life on Mars in 1 million BC. Like,
right,
they
right.
have a psychic and they give him an envelope and they don't tell him what's in the envelope, and you have to figure out where he is,
All right, I heard about that.
yeah, and
Yeah,
they did one
but
where they wrote down like Mars 1 million BC on the piece of paper, and he's like, I'm in a red place. It's really windy. There's a lot of people here. And it
uh,
answers them like getting into a spaceship and landing on Earth. It's like, what?
there's some really weird take I heard about the moon landing. Someone said to me like, so here's the thing: the moon landing happened, but the thing is that the footage we see was faked because they didn't record anything or something like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I've
I
heard
mean,
that one before.
I don't know how true it is, but
We went to
it's
the
definitely one of
moon,
the
but
more.
like,
We just didn't bring a
it wasn't
camera.
what it was like. Yeah, like the
Yeah,
rest was on a soundstage.
it's
Yeah, Alex Jones
uh,
talked about that too, and on the Joe Rogan one,
is there
when he
is there like any truth to that? That sounds nuts.
it's one of the things he talks about. He goes through he gives the whole plot of Evangelion, the
Uh-huh.
instrumentality,
Yeah. I
the angels on the moon, the monolith on the moons of Jupiter.
Of course. Oh man. I and sorry to like jump around subjects, but because you mentioned Evangelion, I remember I was thinking about the movie and like I realized like sort of the one of the main takeaways from it is that the like from sort of a bit more of a Christian kind of perspective, you could say like at the end Shinji is given a choice to create this sort of world where like without what was it, like without pain or something like that, and or he could just have sort of keep things the way they are, and I think it was sort of like when he says like this sort of world I wished for, there's something wrong with it, and and I think it's sort of alluding to the fact that the way our world is set up, like the nature of like creation in general, the way it is now, it can only be was like shoot, I don't know how to exactly put
You
this.
know what I think it is?
It's made by like a loving God, sort of.
It's
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
it's Genesis 6 about the angels lying with the daughters of men, the Nephilim.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That whole
I guess
story, that's Evangelion. Like,
I guess so.
and it ends in a
Huh? Yeah. No,
flood that destroys the world because everybody in the
right.
world is evil and always doing evil and only evil. Like,
How
but
come I never drew that
one
connection?
man in an ark, which is what Ava Unit 1 is, it's an ark
Yeah.
for the human soul, survives the flood and gives birth to a new humanity. And that's the Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah. I can't believe that seems so obvious, but I have never drawn that connection. Huh?
It's it's
That
it's
that's really something.
like Anno talks about like why he chose the name Neon Genesis Evangelion, and he tells the kids,
I've
like
always
because it looked fancy. But that's literally the meaning of the show. Is this is a new telling of Genesis.
yeah. Yeah,
This
yeah. That's the thing. A lot of people say, "Oh no, he like." Yeah, people don't realize that he was in that interview. He was talking to kids in like a classroom or something. So of course he was going to not give them the
Yeah, he
real
gives them the
reason.
whole Mister Rogers like it's okay to be lonely.
Yeah.
Just because it seems complicated, don't worry about it. Which is like it's probably the advice you should give kids about Evangelion. Like, don't worry about it till you're older. Like,
hmm
you're just not gonna get it.
You just don't get it, man. It's just not smart
But
enough.
if you actually look at it from like the point of view of like this is literally like the first like the like antediluvian period, like the pre-flood period in the Bible, that's Evangelion. And even though it's in a modern setting, it's retelling that same exact story.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I kind of feel
The
dumb now
Nephilim
for
is
not
like the
realizing.
offspring of men and angels, right? That's the Evangelions,
Right, right.
and they're giants.
They are. They are.
And like a woman's soul has to be inside of them, and like that's lying with the like it's actually pretty airtight. People
Yeah,
really don't appreciate the genuine like. It's not just Kabbalah; it's like just a genuine like retelling of Genesis.
yeah.
The cross is actually like help because it's like a New Testament version of it, just
Hmm.
before Jesus had come. Yeah.
I remember someone was telling me that it was like how he interpreted Evangelion was that it was sort of like Shinji was sort of this representation of the Faustian man, if I can quote Richard Spencer for a sec, and his struggle against. Let me take a look. Like his struggle with Christianity or something like that. Hold on. Let me see exactly what he said because I don't want to I don't
Yeah,
want to
go for it.
misquote him. Okay, this could be seen as the ongoing clash between Catholicism and the Faustian man, or even Christianity in general. He also says the angel which Shinji fights are based on Aquinas' angelology, where their essence and existence have no distinction. Hmm. Okay, I mean, sure, I guess. I think it has a lot to do with Spengler, with the rejuvenation and rebirth of the Faustian man represented in Shinji. I don't know. It's been
The Faustian man, I never really,
I don't
I've
know what
never,
that's supposed to mean. Like,
I've never been on board with that whole idea. It's just,
yeah,
the communist new man. What's the difference? Like
I don't know. I thought it just like meant like European spirit or something. That's the limit of my understanding of it.
yeah, it's just a fancy word. It don't mean
Mm.
much.
Yeah, it's just something you can say to sound
Ubermensch.
smart. Let's see. What else did this guy point out? Or there's like a lot of things that. Okay, let's see. There's this image I'm looking at now. Okay, Ray is Lilith, Shinji's Adam, and Asuka's Eve. I mean, I guess you can make a case for that, but that does seem a little bit loose. I don't know.
I
What
don't think
else?
it's quite so direct. And I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
besides that, like Shinji is Noah.
say again, Shinji's what?
Shinji is Noah. He's in the
Oh, right,
ark.
right, right. Yeah, I think that's a really good way of looking at it. It makes sense. It lines up with the name of the show. Yeah. You know what's interesting, and this is what I'm gonna definitely look for whenever I find a time to rewatch it, because I've only watched through the series once, and I've watched the movie like a few times. Um,
Oh, the
I
movie is like you could always go back to it.
oh
If
yeah,
you've seen the show, it's like it's like such a great movie.
yeah. It's really like one. I've literally never seen a movie like quite like it. You know, it's definitely like stands out. You know.
It's
Um,
like yeah, it's an acid trip. Like of a
oh,
movie.
without a doubt. Oh yeah. So so whenever I do get around to rewatching it, and I probably will, um, I'm like, or whenever you rewatch it, look for repeating imagery because turns out uh, they like to do that a lot. There's a lot of there's a lot of scenes. I believe there's like these two episodes, and one of them's more focused on Asuka, and one of them is focused on Ritsuko. And in those two episodes, they're like mirroring shots, you know, like one where it's like Asuka's in the bathroom and she's like washing her face in the sink. Then there's another one where Ritsuka's in the bathroom washing her face in the sink. I don't know what it's supposed to mean. Probably supposed to draw a parallel between the two characters. Here, I'll send it to you on Telegram DMs.
Yeah, okay.
Let me just.
I mean, they
How
do
do I?
that a lot in Evangelion.
Yeah,
Really, they draw the parallels and
yeah.
very
I think
very similar shot composition, but like the context is different. So
right, right. I think in this case it was sort of meant to say, oh look, they're the same character, even though I don't know. I don't believe that's quite the case. They might have similar.
it would be like a similar problem, and they're both
I
dealing with the
guess.
same problem. That's usually what Evangelion is doing with that. Like,
Right. It throws like these problems at the characters, and you see how the characters deal with it or attempt to deal with it, and that's where that's why the show's most like probably best categorized as like a character study, in the end. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's
Oh,
been too long.
okay, I see it.
Yeah, you see what
They're
I'm saying?
both dealing with rejection.
Probably.
It's in the context of both of them because Gendo shoots her, right, and the whole like end arc um of the show is that Gendo abandons Ritsuko and gives her up to Sele. They have that whole scene where they interrogate her while she's nude, and he stops sleeping with her, and she gets really upset about that, so she kills all the Rei clones.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, Asuka, after being mind raped, is rejected by her Evangelion, and her
Oh,
sync
that's right.
is 0. And so they're both characters who are dealing with a rejection of a figure that they rely on for their um,
Like support or something. Well, wasn't Gendo like pity fucking Ritsuko?
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
He was fucking her, and she was completely devoted to him, and he didn't give a shit about her. He was just fucking her, just
It
like
was
he was
just
fucking her mom, and he didn't
well,
care about her
well
either. And in both cases, it was Ray that got him killed. It's like there's so many parallels and like poetic ironies in this show.
yeah. I
Literally
have
talk
like
about it all day.
I have a whole bunch of like these types of pictures saved. I could just like send them all to you, and they're they're cool to digest. There you go. I'm just gonna spam your DMs real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. So like in the
Uh,
first shot, you see like the blood stain, and then you see the person hanging. Those are both of those characters' mothers. So like
yeah.
Ritsuko's mom, she jumped off of the thing after killing Ray, and Asuka's mom killed herself.
Right.
Both throwing up. Although I think that's from different episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
But
second.
Liar, that's them both being rejected by basically the same guy because Shinji and Shinji's dad.
Right. Right.
Both of them in a pool of blood and just completely fucked up. Yeah, yeah, they do a lot of these. With pretty much every character gets a contrast against another character. There's so much time that they spend on all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
it's
think
kind
my
of the thing that's lost in the movies because Ritsuko's like nobody in the movies. Like she might as well not even be in them.
right. She's just kind of like she's kind of like just a broken person at the movie. What I don't even remember like the one of the few pieces of dialogue. She just says like, "Am I doing the right thing?" or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that they were gonna do something else with the third movie, and then they spent too long, and they were just like, okay, well, let's just skip ahead. And like,
you know
not,
what? To be honest, were you referring to the rebuilds, right?
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I generally don't really like the rebuilds because I just don't think they captured the spirit of Evangelion. But I think as they're like, if you look at it on its own, it's not that bad at all. But
no, they're not actually. I really like them, but
yeah, they're fun to watch.
they're not the same thing. They
Exactly.
might even be a sequel. That's, like I'm still on that theory. Like
I, yeah, I heard just apparently some sort of there's some credence to it. I don't know. It's just nice food for
it's
thought, I
because
guess.
everything that happened at the end of Evangelion, like a sea being red,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the big crucifixes all around the Tokyo 3. Those are
That's
the
seen in
massive
the.
divas, but that hasn't happened in the movies yet. But they're already present there in the first movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's already like caught up on the plot about Lilith. Like nobody, there's no like in the show. There's confusion between who Adam is and who Lilith is. Like they're not aware of a Lilith. They think that what they have is Adam. But
Right.
first movie, it's like not even a secret anymore. It's like Misato just takes him
There's
down
this.
there and like, check it out. This is Lilith. This is what. This
Wasn't
is the
it?
reason we're doing this stuff. Whereas,
Wasn't. Sorry. For cutting off. You go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, wasn't like that theory that the rebuilds take place in this sort of separate world that was created in the third impact or something like that. I don't
I
know.
guess I'm more leaning that it's actually a sequel. Like,
I have no clue, man. I'm just I'm just thinking out loud here.
some of the dialogue that, for example, Kaoru says, like, "Oh, this time, Shinji, this time it'll be different." You know,
Right.
they met before, but they clearly haven't met before in the third movie when they actually meet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the continuity. It seems like End of Evangelion flows into the rebuilds. Like, just the characters don't realize like that this has already happened. Like, the world was rebuilt and they got a second chance, and the second chance just so happens to be mostly like the first chance.
Mm-hmm. And I remember a lot of people like say they really hated the third rebuild movie, but I thought it was the most interesting because they took the most risks. Like doing a time skip like that, you know, I thought that was kind of a ballsy move.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is just like how much they were just vague. They focused on something very, very specific to the exclude. Like, I mean, it's a 14 years time skip, and you're focusing on just Shinji being confused about it, and it's like, yeah, I'm confused about it too.
bring me up to speed.
Nobody ever brings you up to speed in that movie, so you have no idea what's going on or why it's happening. Like, it looks cool, it looks great, it's fun to watch. The relationship between Kaoru and Shinji is well developed, but it's really not enough content for a full movie. Even
I was joking.
2 hours long.
Yeah, no, I was jokingly said that Evangelion is based because the only vaguely gay character Kaoru, when he's introduced in the show, he's killed. When he's in the movie, he's also killed. Like, whoa, what's Anno trying to say about homosexuals, man?
But he's not gay. He's an
I know. He just loves his bros, man.
And in fact, he could actually be a Jesus allegory because he always dies, and he's always asked to be killed.
Huh. And yeah, I guess
sacrifice for humanity because he comes down to see Lilith, and he's like, "Oh shit! If I do this, world will be destroyed. I can't be here at the same time as this thing is here, and probably better off that I die rather than mankind."
He seems to be like the only angel that like besides like
he's like acts like an angel.
No, but it's like because none of the other angels have that sort of. I mean, and it's implied to some extent that the angels are intelligent beings.
Yeah, they're basically just like people in terms of like their consciousness, if not smarter.
Right, but they don't either. I guess it's just they don't know what will happen when they reach Lilith. Or wait, they're looking for Lilith. I'm sort of my memory of the show's a little bit foggy.
I think they don't come to the same understanding. Like mankind understands that they make contact with Lilith, all of mankind is gone. So
right, but Kaoru is the only one who considered who chose okay, I won't do that.
Yeah, and that's why there are some theories about him being like the Christ figure in the show, and definitely there is definitely the content there to discuss because I think the parallel was made deliberately.
Oh yeah,
especially with just all of the choices that they like. He's just there talking about how the fate of mankind, and he essentially judges them at the end because him and Rey become interchangeable in the end of the rebellion. Rey grows out of as a pair of wings out of Kaoru, and Kaoru grows out of a pair of wings out of Rey. So
that was great. Oh, so bad. Yeah, that entire the movie's its visuals are so strong and impactful, man. I remember the first time I watched it, I was so wowed that there were certain scenes that just kept replaying in my head. Just when when it comes to the third impact and that giant Lilith Rey combination, whatever you want to call it. It was just that whole sequence was nuts, man. And it was great. And the show sort of it's funny because the show sort of almost feels like the show kind of prepares you for this and I'm not even thinking about the narrative part of it. I'm thinking purely visually because the show used this sort of glowy effect sometimes and
all the time, yeah.
Yeah, and I always thought it looked really nice. It sort of added a little bit of the surrealist aspect to the look of the show. And then it's sort of that whole sort of glowy feeling is taken overboard with the movie and sort of completely realized and in the whole third impact sequence where you have that white Rey and there's the glowiness. And it just looks great.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the reason why the movie is so great is because they didn't have to deal with all the like anime production bullshit that the show had to deal with,
Right.
which is like all the problems from the show, like running out of budget and everything. That was like, it was like, because when they're making anime, apparently they're always making it like last minute, right before it airs, the episode gets done. Like,
Yeah, its production
and
schedules are
apparently,
crazy.
like several times, where like a terrorist attack like messed up their schedule. Like, they had to
Oh
rewrite
yeah.
an entire episode because of that like subway bombing. So, because they had a subway bombing in the show, and they had to scrap that entire episode and do like a whole other thing. So,
Yeah.
a lot of the problems with the show, them running out of money, was like not even, because a lot of people talk a lot of shit. It was purely understandable reasons that existed pretty much all across anime at the time, and
Oh yeah.
which is why the movies are like so much more coherent than the last two episodes.
Mm.
It's like,
Even then, I think the last two episodes are they're pretty special in their own way. You know.
no, they're great.
Yeah.
I totally get like if you're watching the show and Cow dies and you're like, okay, where's this going? And then it's just like, let's psychoanalyze the main character. Congratulations, the end.
And I'm like, I'll take
You
it.
really
Whatever.
need to watch the movie, otherwise it's like you don't know. There's no context.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there a theory that the episodes 25 and 26 were basically like what was happening in Shinji's mind during the end of Evangelion? Like,
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
There's like a specific transition that happens where it's like the one time where the transition between scene to scene is like a wave pattern, like it just becomes wavy, like you're going into a dream.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
And that would be where that specific point is where episodes 25 and 26 took place, and then the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I think wasn't it? I remember that wave effect when
after the Kaoru Ray.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly the point where that happens.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
In the movie, it goes straight to the scene where, like, Shinji's watching, like, Misato.
And Kaji.
As teenagers or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a scene that also happens in the show ending. But it goes differently. The same theme is still explored, but way more time is given to it.
Oh, you know what? One of the things that I... That's right. It was definitely one of the later episodes, like one of the one where the second Ray dies. I believe it's second one. It's the when she like absorbs the angel into her Eva unit and it just explodes. There's these few frames, and I remember seeing it. I had to like pause it and scroll through each frame because I thought it was really cool. I think it's like depending on whatever version you watch. Like the TV version is slightly different than the.
That's one of the director's cut episodes.
Yeah. I think the director's cut, it like the sort of tower of all the previous defeated angels comes out of the Eva. But I think I watched the TV version, and what happens in the TV version is that the unit 0, I believe. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. Yeah, unit O.
Yeah.
It's like sitting down. It's like leaning against a mountain, and it starts like it puts its arm up, and it's like sort of pulling itself up, and as it pulls itself up, it sort of becomes like white, and it sort of vaguely takes up the shape of
it becomes Lilith Ray for
exactly.
Yeah.
For like a brief. I'm like, I thought that was so awesome. It's like, oh shoot, that's
and the show does this shit all the time. So like it's really not
very first episode.
It really does throw
the apparition
details in there.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's some really good foreshadowing too, because that's literally a blank and you miss it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And the whole Ray thing is the first time you watch the show, you don't really get what's going on with Ray at all. It's like, why are there two Rays? Like, who's inside of Eva Unit 0? People still argue about that. It's the first Ray. It's the baby Ray.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wait,
so unit
really?
Yeah.
Wait, huh.
That's why if you watch like episode 6 where Ava Unit 0 goes berserk, right? If you watch that scene closely, it seems like it's punching Gendo, but it's actually aiming for Ritsuko. And if you watch that scene, when it cuts to the point of view from the point of view of like Rey or the Ava, instead of Ritsuko having blonde hair, she has her hairstyle done like her mom. And her
There you
mom is the
go.
one who killed, she killed baby Rey. So
Yeah.
Rey 1 or whatever. And they put Rey 1's soul into Ava Unit 0, which is why it gets unstable around Ritsuko and it like literally hates Ritsuko.
Yeah.
And that's why only Rey can pilot Unit 0, whereas Rey can also pilot Unit 1.
I remember. Yeah, that's really There's just this insane amount of attention to detail. Even like there's this person who went to this analysis of the types of guns that the characters use. Man, it's like Ritsuko uses like this German pistol, which you can assume she got it when she went to Germany. I forgot what Gendo uses. He used like this old Czech. I can't never pronounce it right. Czech. Yeah, Czech pistol. Like it's like completely outdated and not like it was like a standard military pistol at like this specific time period. Ritsuko, only time you see Ritsuko with the gun is end of Evangelion, and she uses like really a rare and obscure conceal like Soviet rifle handgun.
Wait, like the
something like that. The tiny little revolver she had when she tries to shoot Gendo. It was like. And the person, like the gun that she uses, it was given to.
I guess it is a revolver.
Yeah, and it was given to like politicians and people who were in positions of power. It's interesting.
The article for that?
Here, I'll send it over to you. Hold on, give me 1 sec. Let's see. I know I have it. Just give me a sec. I remember the episode where Gendo while I'm looking for this, just because I remember something. The episode where Gendo gets like Adam's embryo like in his hand or something. It's after the episode where Gendo pulls Rey out of the what was it called, plug or the
dummy plug?
The dummy plug. Yeah.
It's not dummy plug.
Whatever the thing that
the big tampon
carries the pilot. Yeah. Oh God. You'd assume that
entry plug.
Like
there it is.
The entry plug. There you go. Okay, here we go. I found the article. Let me just select all of this. Forward. Ivan of the One True Brand. There you go. And there, so it's like, so after that episode, so it's like it shows that the handle of the entry plug was like it was hot because he burned himself, and like Shinji burned himself when he tried to open it. It was too hot, but his father was able to open it up, and in the later episode, I think it's the one after Gendo returns from Antarctica or something like that. They got like this. I think it was like they had like a piece of an angel or something. It's really foggy. The memory's foggy in my brain, but the point is that like Gendo's sort of hiding his hand. Like Shinji notices like that he has something on his hand, and the audience would assume that his hand is burned because when he opened the handle to get Rey out, but
then that's what Shinji would be thinking too.
Yeah, but it's like this. And exactly, that's what Shinji's thinking too. But the show tricks you because it wasn't. It was actually the Adam embryo that was like in his hand. Like, oh, that's like really clever. That's clever directing or editing. I don't know. I don't even know what the proper film term is, man. But yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole show is a masterpiece. People say it's overrated. They're wrong. It's underrated.
Yeah.
People still don't get it. They still don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, listen, man, you just don't get Evangelion the way I get Evangelion. All right.
and
let me go on a discourse.
Evangelion. There's like a this meme. It was like a T-shirt. Old guy was wearing it. The original meme was like, Big Dick is back in town. Someone was like, Evangelion expert is back in town, and I'm like, I would wear that, dude. But yeah, the
I,
thing is,
I would I
people.
would unironically wear that, and I would be proud of it too. Be like,
The thing is,
what
like,
don't you understand about it? Just tell me. Just tell me. I'll answer all your questions.
I read the wiki. There are people who won't watch Evangelion on the basis that it's an anime, and I totally get where they're coming from. But you got to realize anime is just like any other form of medium, in that there's good stuff and there's bad stuff. Admittedly, most of it is kind of bad, but the stuff that's good is really good. Like, wow, you know. That's the thing. I just animation in the West, it's either completely paused. Well, not say that it's fucking pure in the East, but I can't watch
I mean,
Western,
I
like,
pretty much every anime artist makes them like moonlights as a porn artist. Like
right.
people.
Yeah.
That's the fucked up thing about Japan is all the porn.
But the thing is that when you when if you filter through all the seasonal garbage, you can find some really good stuff, man. Like I, I don't know. I would like I want to say something that's really similar in quality to Evangelion, and I don't mean like in terms of like I don't want to say like I don't want to compare the two because they're not really like going for the same themes or message, but I would say like Cowboy Bebop is similarly like they have this sort of really the Watanabe had like this really concrete like idea of what he wanted to, like he had these characters in his head and he knew exactly what he wanted to do with it, and he had this story in his head, and yet he like executed it really well, and tells this sort of this tale of I don't know how else to call it other than like sort of like the thing is the characters of Bebop are sort of like a like misuse or misrepresentation or some sort of like weird bastardization of stoicism, because like they have these bounty hunters, they get caught up in the tangle of these other people's lives. Like that's best shown in like the very first episode where it's the woman pretending to be pregnant and she's saying how she wants to go to Mars and live a new life, but she ends up dying, and Spike just has to suck it up because one, there's nothing he can do about it, and two, it's just part of the job, man. That's just part of what he has to do, and that kind of shit happens, right? But they think that they can sort of they think they can just sort of remain unaffected by it forever, but that's not true, and they eventually end up. The scene where they sort of break down is when Spike and Jet are like they're like eating all these eggs. They're like I don't know.
Oh,
They're like, yeah, that's like the scene where they sort of like break down after they had enough, and it's not made very obvious, but you sort of look into some of the subtleties, and it's you notice like yeah, they're probably like stress eating or something.
I haven't actually
Uh,
finished Cowboy Bebop ever. I watched like the first like 8 episodes several times.
oh, well, yeah, definitely finish it, man. It is really a fantastic show. Uh, let's see. Oh, we have some chats. Interesting. Nick Mark says, "This is how animated I get about The Sopranos." Everyone says Sopranos is good. I never get around to watching any of that.
Yeah, I
Let's
haven't
see.
watched it
Hello,
either,
everyone.
actually.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good evening. Well, I hope you're having a good evening too. And Snowball has a wacky nerd glasses, dude. Epic.
Oh, I'm having a
Thank you.
great evening. I just got accepted to law school. I'm gonna quit my job in 3 months. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna get out of college, go into like trade school, and become an electrician. That's just
You'll make really good money, especially in the city.
yeah, cities where people need it. It's
It's got a lot of union work there.
there was a I remember I was at this engineering firm, like it was just an office, right? And I was talking to the boss there, and he said, you don't have enough, like even though you're in New York City, like in Manhattan, there's urban huge population, we have like no electrical engineers, and we don't have any and electricians for that matter, and they don't like we're
Yeah, because
literally
everybody goes to the city as a
there's
graphics designer,
yeah, and there's he's saying like there's so much there's so much work for these people, but no one wants to grab it, no one wants to get it.
Yeah, imagine
And
being a plumber in Manhattan. You'd be making bank. You could
oh, you'd be rich, man. You could be
you
rich.
you could be a millionaire in a couple of years. Nobody wants to be a fucking plumber.
Yeah, because it's because that's
If I didn't go to
I'm above
college
that.
and I heard about this, I'd be a plumber yesterday. All right, like
Yeah, I mean, there's the thing. Like, it's this thing where a lot of like I forget what it's called. Like, what's it called when you're like when your parents are immigrants and you're like the first person born in like the country? Like, it makes you like what, first generation citizen or something like that.
I
I,
think
I don't know what the
I don't
term
know, man.
is.
I don't even know what generation I am because I actually like my parents are immigrants, but so am I. Like I came here very young, so it's like
I'm probably using the wrong term, but just for brevity, let's say you're the first generation of like citizen, and your family like immigrated from some random country, and like they like a lot of people fall for the American dream meme,
yeah. I don't want
and the
you to
thing
do any of
is
the sort of thing that I had to do to make it over here. Yeah,
like I mean
same thing for my dad.
I don't blame them for it because like I don't know because they have nothing but good
Yeah,
intentions,
they
right?
got memed on.
They just
They got memed
they
on
want
hard.
their because they think America's land of opportunities. Well, I want my kids to have better opportunities than I've had, right? But I mean, yeah. That's the thing is that a lot of it is just a lot of parents build like these expectations that are just not like how to also put it, but other than the college isn't for everyone,
College isn't
it's just
for 80% of everyone who's already there. Like it
yeah,
has to be
exactly.
way more selective for this whole system to work. For the economy to even make sense, it has to be like 100 times more selective. A lot more
Right,
people have to
and the
be
thing
expelled, and a lot more people have to be rejected. Like that's otherwise, it's just gonna be a shit show forever.
but the thing is it's like you don't need to have a glorious job or anything, those I mean like that's not what life's about. I mean, sure, having a nice job is nice, but I like
You know what? You know, middle class and upper class isn't for everyone either. Like
yeah,
I hate to say it, but it really it's nothing. It's like not what it's cracked up to be, and it's a whole other set of problems. And you can live just as well being, like lower income, middle income, like
right,
not worry
yeah,
so much about income. As long as you're not in debt, you're gonna be okay.
exactly, yeah. I mean,
Play your cards right. Put some savings away, and you really don't need that much money to survive.
just remember you don't have that's the whole like it's a very weird roundabout way of of saying this because I'm really autistic when it comes to making any points, but basically what I'm trying to say is you don't have to live a glorious life. There's nothing wrong with being a humble hard worker, like if
There's not only nothing wrong with it. It's
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 actually
actually
good.
better that way.
Yeah, work in a
There's
warehouse,
so
it'll suck but it'll build
working on a
character.
farm. You know, I've never heard a farmer complain like, "Oh, I wish I was in the city."
Right, I mean, sure, they have
They
their
say
own
that
problems, but
they
they're like
actually. I go to Ukraine. They're always complaining that all the kids go to the city. It's like, what do you need in the city, man? Like, I don't
right.
know. I don't know. You guys got it pretty chill down here. I mean, it's
Dude, I sometimes fantasize about just moving back to Serbia and becoming like a farmhand or something. Like, seriously, in some like rural village that's like not even like mentioned on Google Maps or whatever. You know what I mean? No, that no one's watching. Just a simple life. Honestly, that's what more people need. You don't need to be a and I'm not saying
yeah. Who
to
wants to fucking work 80? You go to college, you work your ass up, and you have to work 80-hour weeks, 100-hour weeks for
ugh,
money. And
that
it's
kills your
like,
soul.
do you live, bro? Do you live? Do you have
Exactly.
meaning in your life?
Right,
When
and
do you find time to chill? Like,
not to mention that like office culture is just it's just total trash, man. Like I've been exposed to it to some extent, and it's just like
office
people talking back behind saying horrible things behind each other's back.
culture.
Yeah, culture. I know.
No, there's nothing like no such thing as an office culture. It's just
I don't know how else to describe it. It's just the sort of
yeah.
working environment. It's just no good. People are there really nasty, you know?
People
It,
complaining about being alcoholics all day. Yeah, I know. I know how it is, dude.
yeah. Let's see.
People are always just starting fights because you're bored. Like that's what's going on in these places. Like
Right.
everybody's always complaining way too much and working way too little. And then some
Exactly.
people they work way too much and don't complain enough, and that's why they have to like they get all the work piled on them. It's
Mhm.
like I'm not gonna say how much work I do, that or not to be on camera saying it. So.
Yeah, don't worry. Oh,
Rest assured, man. I ever see the movie Office Space?
I've only heard of it. I don't
Are you
think I've
kidding
seen it.
me? Yeah, dude, watch that
Sorry,
movie.
dude. All right, I'm not a big movie guy. That's the thing.
I don't, it's Mike Judge, dude. He knows what's up. It's a great
What's it called?
movie.
Office Space.
Office Space, yeah.
See, Office Space. Okay, I guess I'll check it out. I mean,
Oh, definitely watch it. It's a timeless classic. It's full. A lot of memes came from it.
hmm,
You know,
that means it must be good. Oh,
I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday. Okay,
let's
gonna
see.
need you to finish up those
Oh, yeah.
TPS reports.
Yeah, I recognize the character from the epic memes.
Yeah. The Nazis had little pieces of flair that they made the Jews wear. Like that's a line from the movie. It's a great movie. Like, absolutely have to watch it, especially
Yeah.
if you've ever worked in an office. The movie is entirely true. You watch Silicon Valley?
No, I don't have Zogflix. If that's on Zogflix, I
No,
don't
it's on
know.
HBO. It's even worse.
Oh, I don't have that either. I don't. I
Well,
don't.
I torrent every episode, so it's like that's probably the best show on TV, and it's the same guy who made Office Space, but now it's Silicon Valley in today.
Mhm.
So like, and it's so in touch with everything. Like,
Yeah, man. Mike
the
Judge
alt
is
right
like.
was name dropped like 3 times. This and
Okay.
like all of these like extremely online like discussions between nerds like Roko's Basilisk and all like AI and shit.
Hmm.
Like the sort of stuff you'd read on in like Moldbug and Nick Land and all that. Like they,
Hmm.
but really fun. Like the Chinese character is just a complete scumbag. He's got a very corrupt uncle in China who's doing him favors, like bringing in like fresh corpses to fake somebody's death. It's great, great
Dang.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Mike Judge is like one of the last like actual human beings in the entertainment industry.
yeah. No, he
It's,
totally is. Like I don't. Idiocracy is overrated, but his other work is really, really good. And I'm not even a
yeah.
Beavis and Butthead fan. Like his movies are great.
Speaking of Beavis and Butthead, I never understood this trend with like 90s to like I guess early 2000 cartoons to look as grotesque as possible. I just I never got the appeal of it, man. Like I don't know what was that like Cat and Dog, Ed and
Yeah, I
Eddie.
think it
I
was just a
couldn't.
lot of it was like cheaping it.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, I look
I
at
mean, for
the
the most,
animation itself, and it looks like I mean, like in terms of like movement and stuff, there's a lot of work behind it. It's just the style. It's just
and I think it's
I don't
also
know.
because a lot of these shows they were going for like a tone that's irreverent and like just not serious. So they didn't want to
Uh,
make something that's aesthetic for something that's just a bunch of shit and fart jokes. Like
mhm. Yeah,
although
yeah,
it was a really bad. It still is a bad trend because lack of aesthetics is a sign of a dying society.
yeah. Beauty will save the world.
But
Who said that again? I don't remember.
guy, some really obscure
I thought it was
guy,
like a saint who said that or
wrote
something. I
a
don't
whole
know.
bunch of novels. I thought it was
I have no
Dostoevsky.
clue. Maybe I have no idea. Let's see. Mike Judge, Mel Gibson. Someone told me Mel Gibson is a MK Ultra multiple, and I said, "You take that back."
No, man, Mel Gibson's a good boy. He's from Peekskill, New York,
Hell yeah.
right here across the river from me. Even though he's from Australia, but he's from Peekskill, New York. Also, yes, where he was born.
Yeah, man, he's great. He's making a Passion of the Christ sequel, right? It's going to be like the Resurrection or something. That's what I heard. I'm gonna look it up.
You should make the Book of Acts into a movie. That would be a great sequel.
Yeah, he is
Yo,
making
Mel
a
Gibson
sequel.
was baptized in Washingtonville. He's super fucking local, man. So I got Mel Gibson and I got Donald Trump. Like, I got them both. Because Donald Trump went to high school, like, downhill from here. He went to NEMA.
Crazy.
New York Military Academy. I saw him land in his helicopter out there, during the election. It was great.
Oh yeah, I remember one time I was going to the there are like these tennis courts right next to the U.S. Open, and I was just going there because I was on the team, and I saw the Trump plane flying over me. I'm like, oh, epic! And it was during the time where
so big.
I guess I was I was like, so base, epic, awesome. Those were well, I don't. Those were funny times when during the election. It was really wacky.
Oh man, it was all wacky. I mean, the results were wacky. We're living in wacky times.
Very.
The election was rough.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. Like, at least I could say, haha, I didn't vote for Trump every time he makes a mistake. But if you voted for Trump, I don't blame you at all because like, he was actually saying some really great stuff during the election. I would have totally voted for him. It's just other than me not being old enough to vote at the time, obviously, but like he was talking about like getting out of the Middle East and well, that was just like one of the big things for me. But it's just like I totally get voting for him, but at the same time, it was like 3 months in, he launched those missiles into like an empty airfield. I'm like, what the heck, man? What was that all about?
Yeah, that was real disappointing. I remember being mad about that. Still mad about the new one. The
Yeah,
new one was worse. Way
yeah,
worse.
and what's interesting. They both of the missile strikes. They both happened about a year apart, and they were both sort of like there's no one, not really many people were killed, and they're both sort of failed attacks. So I'm thinking like, is there maybe more to this? I don't know what's
Well, the
happening.
first one was like a show of force, like, hey, don't fuck with me, to
Mm-hmm. The second one felt more like a false flag.
And the second one was to cover up evidence because there was no chemical attack and they were about to find out and tell everyone, and that would have destroyed their whole narrative and egg on your face. And it's like, what else are you lying about? So it's just sort of like, let's just destroy the evidence. We're going to look bad, but it's going to be, it's like knocking down the school in Sandy Hook. Like,
yeah, I heard that, or I'm not 100% sure on this, but I remember hearing when the Florida shooting happened that they were going to do the same thing and knock down that high school, but I don't think that happened. I remember seeing like an article about
they did
it,
like a renovation. They
renovation,
knocked down a wall or something, which is normal. That's actually normal. They did that in Columbine too.
Was it just to like because those walls had like bullet holes in it or something? I don't know.
Well, yeah, and you kind of got to bring in some people, clean up all the blood stains, and make it nicer and different, so that people aren't reminded of all their friends' like guts.
I can't believe like shootings are now like an American pastime. It's replaced baseball.
Yeah, I wish.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's weird because like remember when in 2015 when there was the Paris bombings, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, it's horrible," and now we're like totally desensitized to it. We just are like, "Oh, another day, another shooting." I guess. It was just. I mean, part of me wants to think it's like I'm sure that
it's literally just getting people used to it, so it's not a problem anymore. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. Another mass shooting. We have 20 of those a week. Fuck that, dude. I'm just gonna go chill and smoke some weed. And it's like, I mean, probably, but like, come on.
Yeah, I remember there's man. It's just I don't know, man. It's like one part of I mean. Well, part of me wants to think that they're just using like some of this is obviously false flags to use against like to disarm people, obviously, but
not even false flags. They just let this shit happen sometimes. And
they just straight up let it happen.
Pretty sure Sandy Hook was made up because like nobody's actually gonna go shoot up a bunch of elementary school kids, especially not some fucking autist. who
Hmm.
apparently didn't leave his house for 3 years and never got anything above an Xbox. Like, yeah, I don't believe that. Like, none of it.
Right, right.
I don't believe none of that shit. But, you know,
Too
a
much.
lot of the shootings that do happen, they let them happen. They know they're going to happen, and they're like, yeah, fuck them. I don't care about that one.
What's the saying? Smoke bells and mirrors or something like that. I don't know. I think that's how it goes.
It's sort of like, hey, like there's like, hey, we're going to collect a lot of insurance. Like, hey, there's an arsonist going around. Great. If he burns down my building, I'm getting the insurance payout, and I'm not even the one who set the fire. Like,
Yeah.
so
So
for them, it's a lot. It's a really like sometimes it's just convenient to have a terror attack. It'll distract from whatever is bothering them. It'll let them have an excuse to pass whatever law they want.
yeah.
Sandy Hook was like an attempt to do that, and it didn't work.
Right.
And so they went to the courts, and then they had to kill Scalia, and but that still didn't work because they didn't get their nominee in time. So it's
What a mess.
yeah, no, yeah. It's like, what was the motive for Sandy Hook? Well, it doesn't matter because they never accomplished their goal. They just fucked it up.
It's like the tiki bar in Goodfellas, except kindergartners. I have no idea. I've never seen Goodfellas, so I can tell you. Yeah.
But yeah, Sandy Hook didn't happen. I'm gonna
Yep.
need to like, I'm gonna go on every stream that I go on. I'm gonna tell people Sandy Hook didn't happen, just to remind them. Um,
Right. And
Look
remember,
into the evidence. Ask where the bodies are. Ask where Adam Lanza is. Why didn't we let's find things. Just try to get a Freedom of Information Act from the state of Connecticut to get a picture of Adam Lanza's body. You won't. You'll never get it. It
yeah.
doesn't exist.
Mm.
Because Adam Lanza doesn't exist, actually. He never existed.
And when you go around talking about Sandy Hook like that, when someone calls you a conspiracy theorist, all you got like in an attempt to try and shut you up, all you got to say, well, sorry, buddy. In 1967, the CIA weaponized the term conspiracy theorist, and ever since then, it's sort of been like a negative. Like if you ever look at conspiracy theorists as portrayed in like TV shows, they're always like crazies, and they're like, aha, they're ridiculous, that or whatever.
And besides, like a lot of conspiracies, it was like, are you going to tell me the conspiracies don't happen? Because they do. It's a
Right.
crime. It's a crime. It's actually literally on the books as a crime.
Yeah. Remember,
crime, man. That's all I'm doing.
remember Operation Northwoods? That was when the CIA wanted to conduct a string of terrorist attacks and then blame them on Cuban terrorists so they could justify a war with Cuba. Only reason it didn't happen is because we had a half moral man named JFK in office who shot it down. And
Yeah,
I
and
don't
then
think
they
that's
shot him down so that they could do all the terrorist attacks they wanted all throughout the 70s.
was
And
that
the
the
60s.
reason they killed him, or
Oh, they killed him for a lot of reasons. But he was in the way of the CIA. He was talking about disbanding them.
Wow, he had
Yeah.
some good ideas.
Yeah, no, the good ideas are what got him killed.
Yeah, that's a shame. What was that whole thing with had like the bullet curve thing or something like that? I have no idea what that's all about.
No, Lee Harvey was just a patsy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This like the KGB agrees with me. I don't know. They're spies. It's their job to get up.
And I was just wondering if is there any like consensus on what the deal is with that? Because that I mean,
Well,
I don't know
most
what
of
to think
it
of it.
is like it's impossible for Lee Harvey Oswald to have pulled it off. Like
maybe there's like more than one person. You're saying?
Yeah, it's
okay.
really
Yeah,
impossible
that makes
for
sense.
that guy in that location with that gun to fire those bullets. Like it's just, and that's why like if you go and you visit the Texas Book Repository, you're not actually allowed to stand where he stood. You have to be far away from it. You can't even look out the window that he looked out of.
I see. That is pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like on the right before JFK got assassinated, Harry Truman put out an article, I believe, in the New York Times, talking about how when he first signed off on the CIA, he did not intend for them to be what they've become. Like you wanted just like a a narrow like government agency for gathering intelligence data, and not like a full like cloak and dagger psyop sort of thing. And he wrote like a big op-ed like warning about the powers of the CIA expanding.
Mm.
Right before they shot JFK, like literally the same week, if not the same day, that article ran.
Whoa, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you know what I realized? Like the fact that we're just like normal dudes, right? The fact that we know all this stuff kind of goes to show that the CIA kind of sucks at keeping their story straight. To be honest,
Yeah, it's the
it's
thing
like,
is like they work through the media, like they own the media, they own CNN, you know.
oh, without a doubt, yeah.
They do, and everyone fucking knows it, and the media just kind of expects you to be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you're still buying this shit, you are stupid. Like I'm sorry, like it's all of it is as real as Pravda, you know. And Pravda didn't always print fucking lies, you know. And it had op-eds, and it had arguments, it had real news stories, but it was still bullshit. That was.
Yeah, yeah. No, it just
It's what gets me when people like bitch about RT and then they like feel fine sharing BBC, Al Jazeera, and you know what have you, and then they bitch about RT and Fox, and it's like, dude,
I
my dude,
remember
you're so lost. You're
I
so
remember
confused.
BBC just like not too many years ago. It used to be like a very sort of I guess professional, almost like it felt like when I watched like BBC stuff, it almost felt like I was watching some sort of like scholastic, like
Yeah, that's
academic.
what like.
And now I see like an ad from them, or no, it's like this short interview. It's this female interviewer, and she's interviewing some woman historian, and she's saying like, so did Arthur? Like, he's talking about Arthur Camelot, and he says, so that Arthur came a lot, and she's like referring to wiener, penis, and then the historian's like, well, he had one kid, so I guess we could assume that Arthur did not came a lot. And I'm like, what happened to like it used to be sort of like a kind of
This is
a
taxpayer money, man. This is a TV license.
yeah, man.
This is what you have to pay for to own a TV in England. Like,
And if you don't own a TV, you're on a list, buddy.
yeah, if you bought a TV and you didn't buy a license, we know who you are. We're gonna come and get you.
We're gonna kill you. You're dead.
Hey man, I'm just trying to play video games here. All right, like I don't want none of that BBC shit. Just trying to play some fucking Halo.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Right.
You gotta get it. You only are allowed to have computer monitors. Like, even that's gonna require a license.
Yeah, UK is not it's not a serious country. It's not real. It's not good enough to be counted as a real country. I'll just pretend it doesn't exist.
Well, here's the thing: the English, they're very adamant that the UK is not a country; it's a state. England, North Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Cornwall. These are countries.
Mm-hmm.
The UK is a state. It's like, okay, yeah, thanks for proving my point. And you're like, it's a fake country. It's a fake fucking country.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a fake collection of countries, if you will. You know, it's like it's like calling West Virginia a country. You know, like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's. I don't know, and it's weird, like knowing all this craziness, and I know people who know all this stuff, and yet they still like do nonsense, like they call themselves imperialists. Like, I'm an imperialist,
yeah,
pro Britain, bro. It's like, what?
It's like you know how fucked up these people are, man.
Like
you
imperialism.
want them to have more power. You want them to go marching across other countries, and it's like, no, dude, you don't. You don't want to be an imperialist anymore. Like, that era is over.
Yeah, man. Just
That's not. You don't want it back until this is gone. You don't want none of that.
right. Because I think it's like I have this one friend, a real life friend. Whoa, I know, crazy, right? He is, and if he's listening, which he's not, but let's say he was. I mean, I love the guy, right? I really do, but man, he has got to stop like with the politics. You know, he's one of these he's one of these imperialists, and he's saying, well, what's most important? He's like, oh, it's national interest is most important. We're like, what if your national interests are evil? It's like, oh, well, they're not. I'm like, no, dude, they are, dude. Yes,
what
they
the
are.
national interest is. If it's going to be a bunch of like, Israeli dual citizens,
I don't know.
that the national interest is. If it's going to be, some Mormon is his like what who determines the national interest? Because we certainly do
Right.
not put every war to a vote, and we don't.
Like how to like his take on the situation in the Middle East is that okay? Why I asked him, okay, why is America there? Oh, because we want resources. They have oil, I'm like, okay, why is
Why not
Russia there?
Venezuela? Like why not Norway?
Mm-hmm. Right. No, and I asked him like, okay, why is Russia there? It's like, oh, well, they want resources there too. And I'm like, okay, so and what? So his position, like, well, I told him like, so your position is that America's right and Russia's wrong, even though in your head we're both doing the exact same thing. Only difference is it's okay when America does it, not when Russia does it. Like, you can't have the like, dude, man, it just wake the hell up. And I hate saying that because I'm not like a one of those what is it, black energy people where it's like, wake up, my kings and queens.
No, but seriously,
But I
get
mean,
fucking woke on this stuff because it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. If the glove doesn't fit, if Chewbacca lives on the planet Kashyyyk, it doesn't make sense.
right, it's just, man, how do people? I mean, and it's weird because like a lot of these weird, like the most popular beliefs, and I guess people believe them because of like conditioning and stuff, and I guess bad parenting as well. It
Terrible
like dude,
education system.
that too, yeah. And it's weird because like I remember one of the big things that kind of made me into a more I'll just say right wing for brevity. I don't really know what that word means anymore, but you know what I'm saying. Like one of the things that made me think about it is I just like sat and thought about like what most like liberals believe for more than like 5 seconds. Through I was like, well, this is a bunch of gobbledygook. It doesn't make any sense, and it's all about like what feels good, what feels right, like. And I was talking about I was talking with a friend earlier, like this whole idea of human rights, like, well, human rights in the secular sense, they don't exist. You don't have you like the thing is if it's something that's
Well, they exist, but only in a religious framework.
exactly, yeah, the
They
only
don't
rights that are
exist
real are God
in a
given.
vacuum. Like there are no rights just because you say there are. There aren't.
Yeah,
You're nobody, and I
that
don't
that
care about your rights. Like,
that's the thing. Yeah, rights don't exist in the secular sense. Like you have you. It's like you. Okay, so let's say U.S. Constitution in the Second Amendment, you have the right to bear arms. But if the government's currently taking away your like disarming the population, you can't say that's a right
well, at the very
because you're
least,
losing it.
America did make a hedge in the Constitution and Declaration of Independence by saying we are endowed by our Creator with
Oh
certain
yeah, sure.
inalienable rights. So there is a religious framework to the rights that Americans can expect to have, and the Second Amendment
I'm
is
just using the
part of that.
Constitution as like an example because like what I'm trying to say is if your rights can be taken away from you, they're not really rights, are they?
Yeah,
You know what
no,
I
it's
mean?
true. But the Second Amendment is there specifically for the reason that, like, if they start taking away your rights, you shoot them.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting. People like these stupid liberals. They say like, "Oh well, they didn't mean like, well, they used like musket balls,
Yeah, so did the
ammunition,
British
not
back then,
full."
and they also had cannons and fucking battleships.
They
If you could strap
let's put it
a
like this.
Gatling gun to a fucking hot air balloon, they'd let you have it.
Let's explain. Yeah, exactly. Let's put it like this. Men were encouraged to be part
In
of
some places, it
like
was
local
illegal
militias.
not to have a gun, and it still is in many parts of the country, of this
Mm-hmm.
country.
Yeah, but people were encouraged to create and join like their own local militias, and they were also encouraged to have like warships, like clippers and that type of stuff. Like like that.
That was the
It's true they
Navy.
were.
That was the Coast
Yeah,
Guard. That was the Merchant Marine. Like you had to own the boat.
right. And it's like to say like it's like well they weren't thinking about fully automatic assault rifles. They were, they're thinking about like just a pea shooter. No, dude, they're thinking way more than assault rifles, dude.
Specifically to kill people in armies, people in the government, like they, like people that you're not supposed to kill. That's what that amendment is for. It's insurance.
Right,
If your
exactly.
leaders aren't scared that you could kill them, they're too powerful.
And that's the thing.
That's what I
People
always say. If we're getting closer to a society where we can kill our politicians more easily, I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying I will. I'm just saying, theoretically speaking, if your politicians are easier to kill, you have a more democratic society.
I'm not saying I'd kill a politician.
I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying
I'm
I
saying
should be
if I
able
saw
to rather easily if I had to.
all I'm saying is that if I saw Ruth Ginsburg in the street, I would be put in a self-defense situation where I'd be forced to act. All right.
I drive through Chappaqua every day, so if I ever saw Hillary Clinton crossing the street, I'm not saying I'll do anything, but I will think about it.
It'll be hard not to.
All day and all night.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, don't take the siege suppository, okay?
Yeah, definitely don't do that. But yeah, definitely buy a gun and definitely own a gun and definitely keep your gun and don't fucking
get surplus ammo.
Give up their guns. That is, it's so fundamental to what this country is to have your own firearm that anybody who says that you shouldn't have one should be shipped off to fucking Russia, Canada, any other Mexico, whatever country doesn't let them have guns, they should be deported to that country.
Right.
I don't care how many generations they've been in this country. I don't care what their background is. If you think Americans shouldn't have guns, you should just be physically removed away from Americans.
Bye.
Because clearly you already feel unsafe, and we just want you to feel comfortable and safe, far away from all of us.
Yeah, from all the crazy. Boris says in the chat, Second Amendment was made to forcibly impeach your own government. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was also because they didn't want to have a standing army. That's another thing that people miss, because we have like this expansive military state that everybody just accepts as normal, but that's not actually normal. Historically, America very rarely had an army that could force project the way that ours does now. Civil War kind of changed things, but before that, it was literally just state militias.
Right.
State militias everywhere. And most people were in a militia. We are all in a militia right now, actually, the unorganized militia. If you're a male, 18 through 45, you're in the militia whether you like it or know it or not, which is why you're allowed to have a gun. This is another point that people always miss. Like, well, you're not in a militia. Are you in the National Guard? Read the Dick Act, okay? It's not – the National Guard is one half of the militia. The other half of the militia is the unorganized militia, which is just every person who is over a certain age and under a certain age and who is a citizen of the United States. Like, that's it. And they were doing this so they didn't have to have a standing army, and they didn't want to have a standing army because that would make the government too powerful. Look what happened. They were exactly right. Like, say what you will about the Founding Fathers. They were, like, Masonic and, Unitarians and heathens in general, but they were right about a lot of things in terms of setting up a government. They didn't go far enough in a lot of things, though. The government's still too powerful.
That made me think for when you mentioned masonry. It reminded me like do you know when like Freemasonry stopped being about like actual stonemasons? It started being about like skinning babies and shit.
Was it ever about like stonemasonry? Like, I'm not even sure if it ever was.
I don't know. I mean, I've no clue. I mean, it's called Mason. Like,
yeah, I haven't really. Despite all the conspiracy talk, I haven't gone into that rabbit hole.
I guess all you need to know is.
I'm sure it's like 1500 or something. You know.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean around the Renaissance, probably when the Satan came in to play,
yeah.
and not just the stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I looked into I didn't go super deep into it, but I looked into a little bit of like the occult and like what they believe in and just a few of their practices. And what I realized is that like a lot of this is literally just like they're just like power hungry people. Like that's kind of what it's all based off, like lust for power.
That's all it ever was, and that's what
they want to be something that they're not. And
like I want to be a god. I want to decide what the stuff is and what isn't.
It's like, but I was actually talking with this person who was like this weird pagan occultist, and he's like, well, you can be so much more, and I'm like, well, I don't need to be so much more. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know, I'm cool with
that much more. If you need magic.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm cool.
If you need magic, dude, you could do with being a little less. You know, like most people don't need magic to get through their life.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know. I'm cool with having like flesh and bones. I don't really need to be like a spirit wandering the earth or some nonsense like that. It's like
yeah, no thanks. I'll tackle the mysteries of the universe
after.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and it's just, it's just lust for power. You're never gonna ascend. You can trick yourself into thinking you've ascended, but you just make yourself sound like a smarmy asshole when you talk about it, and everyone sees you for that. No one sees you as ascendant. Like, wow, dude, I took LSD a few times, and now I'm
maybe like one of those Indian gurus with a cult. You watch Wild Wild Country?
No, I haven't. I haven't watched a lot of.
Yeah, that's like, right. You don't have Zombie.
Assume I haven't watched any TV shows.
Well, that one was really good. It's 6 episodes about the cult that almost took over Oregon. It's just so fucking stupid.
Oh, that was about the Indian.
Yeah, Rajneesh.
Oh yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, there was a down the rabbit hole about it.
Yeah, that's how I learned about it. The down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, they made a whole like 6 hour like documentary series about it, where they interviewed that lady Sheila, who ran the whole cult. Pretty much their lawyer, the lawyer of the cult. Big part.
Just sort of
the townspeople. No, it's a really good documentary.
Yeah, Rajesh was sort of like the figurehead. She was really the one who was running things. And she was
I don't fucking trust that guy, dude. That guy was like a weird fucking pervert.
Yeah,
shiny things and to be rich, and he just told people what they wanted to hear. It was such shallow crap. I don't know how anybody bought it.
All I learned is that Hinduism is nuts, man.
But he wasn't
even like a traditional Hindu. He was
not even like he wasn't a traditional Hindu. He was like to Hinduism what like Unitarianism is to Christianity. It's like not even in the same family. Like he just took like the imagery of Hinduism and like the exoticism that the stupid hippies would fall into, and
New Age nonsense.
Just literally New Age nonsense. Like, let out all your emotions, dance around, and be quiet and fuck.
Yeah.
Like, all the fucking drugs, doing laughing gas, and Sheila was on amphetamines the whole time.
Yeah.
They start poisoning people. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, they actually tried to kill people, man.
They gave him a $10,000 something watch made out of diamonds, and he started wearing it around, driving around in 20 Rolls Royces. Like,
yeah.
When you're in a cult, like, what? Do you ever wonder, like, why does he need 20 Rolls Royces, 70 Rolls Royces? What
are you gonna do with it?
One Rolls Royce is already like pushing it,
It's like owning a hypercar in a city. Like, what's the point of it? You're not even allowed to go like a fourth of what it's capable of.
He lived in a commune, like that he built.
Right.
Everything was fucking walking distance. He didn't need a fucking Rolls Royce, let alone dozens of them. What? I don't know how you could be in a cult like this and see that guy. He's not even trying. Like diamond watch. Oh wow, what does that
Wow, our humble
represent?
leader.
Is that because when I'm looking to a religious leader, he better be humble.
Right.
If he's going around talking about he's super rich and he's showing it off, then like that's kind of like a red flag that I'm definitely in a cult.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want your religious leader to be like fucking Xavier Renegade Angel.
And it's like I get like people say that about like the patriarch of like Russia, because you see him like wearing Rolexes and shit, but he doesn't really he's the head priest, but like he doesn't really.
I don't know. Every time I've heard him talk, I don't think he's ever said anything like remotely disagreeable. I
Yeah,
think
it's not
he's
what he says, which is why like he's fine, like.
right,
But
right. I think
definitely some corruption going on with him because
any institution is corrupt to a
yeah,
certain degree.
but
So I
it's
mean,
like at the same time, like you want to compare it to the Vatican, it's
yeah, that's what I get. Like,
it's
I
like
mean,
Bush League, like who cares?
yeah, and it's like when people tell me like, and I'm not saying anyone specific because I know there's some people who might hear this who might think I'm referring to them. I'm not referring to them. I'm saying in general. They're it's like when someone says like I can't become Orthodox just because the corruption or whatever. I'm like, well, wait, you know what the
Yeah,
Vatican is? You know
your
anything?
problem is with like the people, like the specific individuals who are corrupt, and you should expect them to be corrupt
Right.
because
That's just
this is
we're just
what is this,
fallen.
a fallen world, right? A world full of sin, and it's
Exactly.
everywhere, and it's going to be in churches and governments and schools. It's going to be in your house. It's
Yeah, you
going to be
can't
inside
escape
you.
it.
It is inside you, and that's the log in your own eye, isn't it? Like, come
Right.
on,
Right.
you're corrupt.
If you
You
want to
know
look
you
for,
are. You know you are. I would take a bribe, right now, like
I mean, if you want to, if you
my current job, yeah, I'd probably take a bribe.
right, if you want to like, if you're not sure about what church, you want to be a part of, or which is the true church, hinted orthodoxy, uh, just read. Don't look at the people in the church. Read what the teachings of the church are. Like look at the practice, what it teaches. Not. Don't
Yeah,
I? How do I guess the
the
way to put
way
it
it
is
ritually behaves, because if it's maintaining the dogma, and it's doing everything right, it's not like trying to
like
pander to you, and it's not showing off, and
yeah.
then you can
It's like
probably trust it, even if there's some questionable people there. There are always going to be questionable people. Yeah, we're not
that's the thing.
Donatists, like we're not, or
Don't like
the Donatists, right? The ones that Saint Augustine was against. The ones that like you have to be perfect to be a priest. It's like no, nobody's perfect. So
right. That's the thing. It's like I don't look at the church like don't determine what church you want to go to based on like the state of the church or what the church is. Look at what the church is supposed to be. Because like
yeah, look
that's
at
the
what
thing.
he's
Like
calling you to.
I'm not a Catholic because the Vatican's corrupt. That's not the reason I'm not a Catholic. You look at the doctrine. That's like what or traditional Catholicism teaches. Not what Novus Ordo nonsense. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
that's what you look at. You don't look at some
Well, the crazy thing,
weird.
Catholicism, they wrote so much of it out. All the laws and like the canons and the rules and the statutes. It's insane that,
Oh yeah,
and that's
there's a
really
lot.
what like makes me look at Catholicism twice. Like, isn't this like the whole problem with the Pharisees, like where we made too many rules, thinking that we understood what God wanted, but they didn't really understand what God wanted, and these rules were just made for people's sake,
Right.
not
Yeah.
not for the sake of the people of the church, like the sheep, but for the sake of the people who made the rules.
Right. And here's the thing: you don't need to like
You don't
you
need
don't
to
need to
spell
know
everything out.
everything.
They know the principles of good behavior.
Right. And the thing is, it's like you don't, yeah, like you don't need all these rules written out, and even if the rules are like I guess like correct in some sense, like the whole
Well,
like
the Pharisees' rules were often correct too, but that was not the
exactly.
intention that Jesus had with them.
But what I'm trying to say is like I think, well, I'm just some like wacky 19-year-old saying this, so I mean you don't have to listen to me if you don't want to, but like I think the people should focus on like simple faith, right? You don't have to know absolutely everything about like church history and all of that, because I feel like the essence of the faith,
Well,
it's
and
something.
you're gonna pick up some of that if you just go to church, and you're gonna
Oh
pick
yeah,
up
of
all the
course.
hymns if you go to church. You're
They'll get
gonna
them stuck in
memorize
your
all the
head. You'll be
songs.
humming it on.
That's all the
Yeah,
theology that you need to know. It's everything that you say in church. That's all you need to know. Like
yeah,
that's the very fundamentals and the basics. Like you'll do the Bible readings. Just follow the church calendar. You follow the lectionary. You'll be fine. You'll know everything you need to know. You don't need to digging for esoterica. You don't need to. Pretty much the entire theology summarized every liturgy. So
yeah,
you can
and
go to church
you
and
know,
memorize it.
I'm saying like you can understand the essence without being like super knowledgeable about it. Like
Well,
it's not
that's what
hard.
I mean. Like that is the essence. Just
Yeah, it's something
oh,
that it's something that can be sort of innately understood.
it.
It's almost like it's part of our nature,
I
huh?
don't remember who it was. It's like one of those quotes. You read somewhere and you forget years later. But I was reading about some sociologist who went down to Ukrainian Carpath. The Carpathians in Ukraine, the
Hmm.
Ruthenians, if you will, the Ruthenian Russian church, right? And he went down there. It was at the time, the Tsar. Most people were illiterate, and he thought that because these people are illiterate, I'm going to find a lot of people who are theologically ignorant. And
Hmm.
after going down and talking to all these like Ukrainians, he was like, no, not only are they not theologically ignorant, they're actually extremely well versed in theology, and the only reason they are, despite the fact that they can't read, is because they have all the songs from church memorized. And
Yeah,
all those songs in church summarize everything you need to know. Every single prayer, basically, that's the essence of the theology. It's enacted every day and sung every day so that you don't even have to be able to read the Bible to understand what the faith is about.
yeah. That's what a lot of people don't realize when like people argue over
And
like
this is why debasement of the liturgy is such a big problem with the Catholics. Why, and also why the lack of the vernacular like mass for such a
Mhm.
long time um, necessitated the creation of this, you know, these legal encyclopedias of being Catholic, the distinctions between different sins, because people really didn't understand what was going on in church because nobody fucking knew Latin for such a
Right.
long time.
That's the thing.
Whereas
Then
in Russian churches, in Serbian churches, and Bulgarian churches, they were basically all giving the liturgy in Bulgarian. So
right, and everyone
it's
knew it.
close enough to common speech in all Slavic countries that everybody understood.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking. That's why I'm thinking. Like, well, I mean, I don't see. It's not that I think that having liturgy done in like Greek churches in Greek or Russian in the
It should be
U.S.
done in
That's
the common
my fault with
language
that. But
of wherever
yeah,
you're
that
from. So in America, it should be
exactly.
English. If there's a Greek community, then they should have a mass in Greek if they want it. But I
Like
think in general, it should be in English just because you're dealing with people who speak English and you want them to come to church.
yeah, I mean the parish I go to, it's all in Greek except for like a few things like the Tri-Second prayers and the Creed, etc.
I
Big
mean,
stuff.
I went to a Russian church where it was actually held in Slavonic, and it's like I'm trying to study Slavonic a bit, but it's like a little too much.
Right.
English is the
Yeah, and
language
it's
I
like
use
the thing
every
is,
single day, and like I get that you want to use a church language. Even if you go to like a Russian church, they use uh they basically use Russian, but they Slavonicize it. Like
mhm.
they
Yeah,
start
I know what you mean.
they start speaking like in an archaic tone. They pronounce things the way that they're written instead of the way that Russians normally pronounce them. Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah, and what I was gonna say is like in that Greek church I go to, and because most of it's in Greek, they give you a the liturgy book, right? I don't know if there's like a
like
formal term for it.
textual is like one half of it in English and one half in
Yeah, exactly. One page is in English, one page is in Greek, and man, that is super helpful. But even then, it's sort of like I kind of want to be focusing on the service and not the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of want to keep my eyes like front and center. I want that to be front and center, not the book. But considering this is like the other church, like Orthodox church nearby would require me to have a car. I'm pretty happy with what I got, to be honest.
Yeah, I always borrow my parents' car to go to church because if I couldn't drive, I couldn't go anywhere.
Right? Yeah. Hey, I'm going to be right back. I just gotta mute myself for a minute, but I'll be listening though if you just want to ramble on.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna step out for a smoke. My mom should have been back by now. I was actually expecting to be gone by 10. Uh, hey, where are the other guys I sent invite links to? Nobody fucking showed up. Why were you even asking me for them? What's your problem, guys? All right, you're gonna have to chill here in my empty room. Here, I'll put on a song for you people. A song of my people. It's probably gonna sound terrible. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm back. I like this music I have it's put on. Ooh, and it conveniently cuts out when I talk. So yeah, just don't forget the simple and humble message of Christ, because that's what's most important, you know? I think that's really like, again, don't quote me on any of this, because I am not like a theologian or an expert, even like, you know. But you just gotta remember that I think that it's like if pride is sort of like the primordial sin, which you can make the case for it, and I'm sure there's some, if you look into like writings, you might find someone that agrees. I don't know. What I'm saying is I'm probably not the first one to make that point. Because the thing is with pride is that with pride you become, not only is pride itself a sin, pride also makes you blind to your other sins, and that just causes just no fun for anyone. What's the link for this song? I don't know. Sorry, I have no idea. But what you can do is put your song up to the mic, to the wait. What was I saying? Just use Shazam. It's a really useful app. Or wait, we can just ask Ivan when he gets back. Wait. What am I listening to? Wait.
It was,
Okay.
Bandura covers. We had the
uh,
Scorpions on before, and then this was Adele. But they were playing the
I,
Ukrainian national instrument, the bandura, which is like a
all right.
harp.
But what I wanted to mention real quick was what I want to say is if you can think if pride is like sort of the primordial sin in that not only is it a sin in itself, it also makes you blind to your other sins, right? Then I would say that humility is like the primordial virtue, like the polar opposite of that, you know. So I think like from humility, that's where holiness sprouts from. I don't I'm not super well read on like church fathers, so I mean, don't I might be wrong on this, but this just sort of like I'm just thinking out loud. But yeah, I just think we all got to like start with humility, and humility doesn't mean like self deprecation because it can it can become that you can. Like, don't say to yourself every day, like, "Man, I really do deserve to go to hell." No, you don't. I mean, maybe you
You
do. You
shouldn't think
actually,
like that either, because you will end up there.
yeah. Don't think like that. That's it's just sort of you don't want to be negative, but you don't want to be prideful either. You know?
You just better hope that you'll
Yeah.
be forgiven.
There you go.
That's
Just
it.
say
Just put your faith in Jesus and hope that He'll forgive you.
right. How do I get? And also like, how do
That's
I?
every prayer. That's all you're asking Him to do. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
have
Yeah.
mercy on the sinner. That's it.
Right.
And
Exactly.
when you're dead and you're being judged, then you should remember that phrase.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
That's the only thing you really should remember is that you're sorry.
Because and that's yeah, because that's what matters most at the end,
All
of
right,
day of
hold on.
judgment and all that. Yeah. Oh, I guess I even have to take care of something real quick. I guess I'll just continue. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing we all got to keep in mind. Humility, 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 and trust me, I might be saying this like I've mastered it. No, I have not, dude. I am such a prideful asshole, dude. You have no clue. I mean, what a lot of people see of me online is it's just that's the thing with online. Everyone wears masks, and it's just these
You're
masks.
all a brand online. That's the important
Yeah,
to
you show
remember.
the parts of yourself that you want others to see. However, in real life, you can't really do that. I mean, you could, but not if you're like if you know someone to like an extent. So like a deeper, you know what I mean, like to a deeper sense. But yeah, I mean, people say nice things about me, and I'm like, I don't know, it's really unwarranted, because I mean, you don't know, because like I am, I mean, my sins. Let's just say, I don't have enough fingers to count all my sins on. Okay, or toes for that matter. We all got our issues, but you gotta ask Christ for help because you can't no man's going to enter heaven on his own merits, like ever. That's never going to
Yeah,
happen.
nobody has come up to the bar.
So that doesn't mean don't try to improve yourself. That just means, I mean, in fact, it should mean yes, try to improve yourself, but that's not going to be what redeems you. It's ultimately grace. It's isn't it nice to have a God that actually loves you, unlike all the other gods? It's a nice feeling.
Someone does.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I'm so lonely. I feel so alone. What are you talking about? Jesus is hearing you say that, and he's like, "Excuse me, buddy. Hello."
I
Right
have a
here,
bunch
dude.
of DMs I'm trying to go through. Didn't notice people were DMing me this whole time.
Oh man, well
Sorry, guys.
that's just 100 DMs, just another day being Orcbrand.
Yeah, I very rarely check my DMs in general, so I often don't reply to people when I should be. And it's totally not because I
Don't
want
take
to
it
ignore
personally.
people. It's just I forget I have a DM option on Twitter.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. Shanghai posted about what happened on his YouTube. So MDE YouTube videos are temporarily disabled. He currently has 2 copyright strikes. One more and the channel gets shut down. So he's just gonna wait this out until they expire. All his videos will be back up on May 17th. I don't know. Even though I really want to like Shanghai, hearing the stuff about the like 16, 17-year-old is just. I don't know. I don't. It sucked when I found out about that. Even though apparently that's old news now. I guess. I don't know. Sam, you gotta repent, bro.
Yeah, Sam's got a lot of that to do.
Yeah, we all do, I guess.
Vaping.
Oh no.
See how nobody notices this thing is fucking hot pink. Because you hold it like this.
Rip.
So nobody fucking cares. And that's why I does. Well, I told somebody like, oh, somebody was saying I should smoke a pipe instead. I'm like, oh, I don't want to look tacky in public. And they're like, you don't look tacky with that vape. And it's like, no, not really.
So are we gonna have anyone hopping on?
I sent invite links to like a bunch of people, but I guess they don't feel like popping on at any point.
Their loss, I guess.
Yeah, seriously, they could have had they could have been part of a great discussion. Well, let's see, maybe it's Sean never joined, which is keep asking you, Sean, jump in already. Come on.
Let's see. Yeah, Sean's a busy guy.
I guess
I'm sure
I don't know what he's always got new jobs lined up.
Yep.
But he's missed on a stream. He's good content.
Oh yeah, dude. He has a lot of good things to say, man.
Yeah, he always records like 10-minute long voice messages. Take a part of your day out to listen to all of them.
It's great,
terrible. Man. It's great.
Just like
no one's gonna know about the great premium Sean Moss content that exists out there.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's invited, man.
I see.
It's the premium subscribers only. Got to donate to his Patreon.
What was I gonna say? Do you want me to get like maybe one of my friends on here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to keep streaming for.
What time is it?
It's fucking 10:48.
Oh shoot! Whoa.
My mom left the house at like 9:20. She's like, "I'll be back in an hour." I'm trying to go to my friend's house.
Oh man.
Whatever. She's probably back soon though.
But
whatever. Invite anyone you want.
All right, let's see who. I'm just scrolling to see who's online on Discord. Who would make a good conversationalist? There's a lot of good.
Wait, hold on. I think somebody's on.
I keep forgetting Davis Arena is in the Commonwealth Discord server. It's weird how we have some e-celebs here. Only Matt Forney and Davis Arena, I believe. There's probably a few others that I'm not aware of.
We could have had Matt Forney on, like Beardson.
Yeah. You remember that?
Right after we were done with our stream, the weekly sweat started last time. Last week. Like, as soon as ours was done, his started, and it was the Matt Forney episode.
They were talking about him? Jeez.
They weren't talking about us. No. Matt Forney was on Beardson's channel.
Oh, I mean, what were they talking about? Because last time I recall an interaction between Matt Forney and Beardson.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
It didn't end well.
Shit. But this time around, Beardson was like, "Oh, I guess I guess Matt Forney was right all along. Hey, they got along really well and had a great conversation. It went on for a while.
Well, that's good to hear.
For a while.
I'm glad that they're on good terms. Yeah, no, it was pretty ugly. How long ago was that? Like
that was last year.
Last year, yeah. I didn't. That was painful to watch, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, Matt Forney, he's done some crappy things, but look, you don't define a man by his past. You define a man when he's dead. That's what.
Well,
God
you can
does.
define him by his present. In that
yeah.
he lives in Ukraine right now, and he's still up to his old tricks, and he's not even asking me my permission right now, which is a capital offense.
Wait, he's in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Matt Forney?
Yeah.
I thought he was Hungary. Huh.
No, he's in Ukraine.
That's weird. No, I remember.
Pretty sure he is anyway. I'm pretty sure that's what he said too.
Maybe he moved out.
Hungary's next door. I mean, you could go there.
yeah. No,
Hungary is literally. I mean, it's a tiny border that they share, but they share a border, so it's next door.
yeah. No, because I remember talking to him once when I was in Serbia, and he was like, "Hey, man, I heard you're in Hungary." He's like, "Yeah, it's nice here." And I told him like, "Yeah, dude, come to Serbia. It's nice here." And then he's like, "Oh, you're in Serbia?" I'm like, "Just for vacation." And then it's like, "Dude, we should like." You were talking about meeting up or something. Like, what, really? Because like he didn't really, or something like that.
I feel like he'll meet up with anyone. That's always been my impression from. I read his book and everything.
I don't.
Yeah, I have 3 years of hate in my basement somewhere.
All I know about Matt Forney is from the stuff from the streams he's been on, and from what I understand, he has some pretty good stuff to say.
No, he's actually like his old blog, like the stuff that his book is based on, is actually really not bad. I mean, it's hit or miss, but a lot of it is really solid. Like he has an article called like the eternal solipsism of the female mind, and it's really on the nose. Like that stuff is still useful.
Yeah.
Other stuff is a little just edgy. He does have an article about Moldbug in his book, and that's interesting. Talks about white nationalists and neo-reactionaries. It's like, wow. That's rare. For a book in 2013, that's ahead of its time. You got to give Forney some credit there. He was
if anyone wants to join.
But my mom did just come back, so I'm probably gonna end the stream. So,
okay, no, that's cool then.
So I'm gonna delete that guy you just invited on.
Never mind. I deleted the message, so no one's ever gonna see it.
All right. This is gonna be on my channel. I never use my channel, so it's probably gonna be the only video on there.
That's a good one.
I do a stream, which
I guess I could plug my channel.
Plug it away.
It's stupid stuff. I just stream video games sometimes. And that's it. It's nothing special.
Well, just give people your ad just in case.
Let me see what it is. Shoot, it's just Vic, but that's like there are probably like 100 people named Vic on.
It's VIK with a black angry face, and that's
here. I'll post a link in the chat, I guess, if anyone's interested. And
all right,
any addresses? Okay, wow, I can't put links in it. Okay, how about I'll put like a space between like www. That should do the trick. Nope. Are you serious?
Well, whatever, dude.
Screw it. Whatever. It's not a big deal.
Send me the link in DMs, and I'll put it in the description.
Nah, don't worry about it. It's not a huge deal. I don't really care about reviews.
Well, you have a good night, dude. And you guys, the 12 people who actually showed up to watch the stream, you're braver than any U.S. Marine.
You're real busted.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good talking to you, man.